Because I think we weigh that a lot. Okay, how many championships did you get to? How many did you win in a finite period of time? Now, we look at the Golden State Warriors as the last great team, Stephen A. They won in 15, lost in 16, won in 17 and 18, lost in 19. So we could really consider, I think we could consider that. I think we can agree on that. That was what we would consider the last great team. But it's not like the Celtics are going anywhere, Stephen. Their core guys are still young. Jaylen Brown is not 30. Jason Tatum is not even 27. And so, and Al Horford, where did Al Horford go after the All-Star break? That's what I want to know, Stephen A. Because the way he's been playing, I need to find out where Al Horford went, because I need some of that medicine that he got.
Brother's aging like fine wine, and that Jay doesn't go away, man. He can shoot the basketball and pull bigs away from the basket.
Yep.
Plus, he's active defensively. Got to give Al Horford a lot of love.
Yeah, it's those good,
no doubt.
Good Dominican genes. Moments ago, Jerry Jones said this about getting a new...
Won 9 straight games. NBA's best road record at 32-7, 2 wins shy of matching the road record, the best one in history that the Warriors had when they won 73 games. That's not all. They become the first team in NBA history to play 6 straight road games and win all 6. I think that one's pretty good. The home court advantage here, Lou, doesn't seem to need to be there. I mean, they'll have it, but the fact that they just did what they did on the road, what does that tell you?
They're a well-oiled machine. You know, as much as we've talked about so many different teams this year, Boston has just went about their business quiet as ever and just been whooping everybody. You know, if it wasn't for the season that the Cleveland Cavaliers were having, they'd be by far the best team in the East. But because of how Cleveland was able to come out and start this season, you know, they've kind of been able to go under the radar, kind of go unnoticed. You know, we've talked about Cleveland all year. We've talked about Houston. We've talked about the Lakers a ton. Obviously, OKC. We've talked about Denver getting better and better. Boston's been one of those teams that just been steady this whole time, trying different lineups. You know, you got the emergence of Peyton Pritchard. You have guys like that playing well and doing their thing. And, you know, Jason Tatum has been touted as boring and basic, but look at how this team is going. Not a very sexy team to watch play basketball, but they've been rolling for the entirety of the season and still one of my favorite teams for the NBA Finals this year. But it's been amazing everything that they've been able to accomplish this year and not be talked about as much.
They're scary, Chandler. They're that good on the road. That's scary.
Yeah. It's crazy, and because we are giving flowers all season long to the Cavs because of their historic run and how good they are and that jump they made. But the Celtics have been there all year long. Porzingis is now healthy, and Porzingis has been unbelievable since he's been back in the lineup. And just look at the team stats of the Celtics throughout the season. They're top 5 in every category. They're top 10, top 5 in that area. The top 5 defense. They're the number 2 offense. You can tell you they play at both sides of the ball at an elite level. They're pretty much healthy for the most part. You know, Peyton Pritchard has really taken a huge step, and he's, you know, a 6th man of the year lock where he's a starting point guard on most teams. So now you're talking about the depth of already the team with the best starting 5. They do it all. There's not really a hole besides maybe getting a little 3 happy and shooting too many threes, but it's working, and they can dominate the ball on the defensive end with switching everything. Al Horford's still giving them production. They are unreal. And when you look at that road record, the 32-7, that kind of puts them at ease going into the playoffs as the 2 seed, not the 1 seed, because they have no fear going to Cleveland if it comes to that in the Eastern Conference Finals.
And you mentioned threes. I just like to shout out Derek White. Sets the record for most threes by a Celtic in a season. I mean, to be on a list for the Celtics is crazy. Crazy.
Think about that. Derek White has more threes than Ray Allen.
Yeah, Derek White, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out. Look, record-wise, obviously they're not as good. I mean, want to say that in quotes, but as last year. So, but the $6 billion question, I suppose, Chandler, is this Boston Celtics team better than last year's?
I think they are. I think they're better than last year. I think the Eastern Conference last year kind of paved an easier route last year for them to get to the finals with injuries and with the teams that they faced kind of being banged up. And this year, the Eastern Conference is stronger. The Knicks obviously are going through their issues. The Pacers are solid. The Bucks are solid. The Cavs have been unbelievable all year long. And the Celtics are still that dominating, you know, explosive team. So I do think they're better this year. I think the league in general is better this year. Definitely the Cavs, but the Celtics, they can do it all. When you look at a team, you worry about this or that. You watch the Celtics play, again, unless it's a little three happy, shooting early shots, getting out in transition, I don't really see a hole with them coming in the playoffs because they're going to be able to play slower in the half court in the postseason, or they can play fast and shoot more threes than anybody. So I don't see an issue with them going into the postseason this year.
Lou, if I'm watching the Celtics, right? I'm not a former player. I know that's a shock, but what do I see that I think, okay, they're better than they were last season? Is there something tangible?
You know, just how the way that they've added other guys to what we expect from them. You know, you got Tatum, you got Brown, you got Drew Holiday, you got all these guys, and you know, we've been talking about the supporting cast more than those guys a lot. You know, we talked about Peyton Pritchard, talk about Derek White making history. Like, that's what makes them a better team, when you can add guys like that to what they've already been doing that makes them successful and makes them a good group. That's the one thing. And another thing is just how steady they've been. You know, you don't hear about them going on losing streaks. You don't hear about the adversity that other teams go through. This team is just steady. That, I think, for me, that's one of the things that makes them just a better team opposed to being who they were last year. Adding guys to your success rate, and also just being steady and being consistent.
Lou, I don't give you enough credit sometimes for your framing. I just want to say what you've done over the course of this show by changing up the framing and keeping us on our toes is stunning.
I'm on my iPad and it follows me around, and so I'm just trying to sit back and just stay still.
I like that. Well, can you at least give us a thermostat update? Do we know what kind of temperature we're looking at in the room for you right now?
We're on 70. We're on 72 right now.
Dang, what are you, like, hot? This is weird. Okay, I love it.
It was like this at one point. It was
I know,
like
this. This was like a half Lou show. I don't even know how you have that technology. Do I even have that? I guess I don't have that. Okay, back to the Celtics. Sorry. Jake Fisher is reporting that they're going to have some serious luxury tax issues, so they're probably going to need to trade maybe a Kristaps Porzingis or a Drew Holiday. Lou, I'll start with you on this one. Who makes more sense to trade of those two?
Probably Porzingis, you know, with Drew Holiday and what he brings to the defensive side of the basketball for this team. That's a tangible thing. You know, you just asked about something tangible we can put our hands on. Drew Holiday he's going to be one of those guys that you got to have in your lineup. Kristaps Porzingis with his injury history, with him being in and out of the lineup, that team just kept rolling. They just kept playing great basketball without him. So I think he's an added piece, but he's not necessarily a piece that they can't move on without. I think Drew Holiday is going to be one of those guys that you absolutely got to keep in this lineup for you to be successful.
Crazy days. Do you agree, Chandler, or are you doing the other way?
I don't want to trade it either. I don't want to change anything with the team. I think this team, as constructed, is bound to win multiple championships. I do agree with Lou. I think the injury history and health of KP is a little concerning, and Drew Holiday is a generational talent defensively, and he's one of those guys that just impact winning without having to score the ball. And when you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, you don't really need